Will Sha Carri Richardson ever run a race in 2022? Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. Now go ahead, please hit that subscribe button so we can continue to grow. When you do that, go in and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. We drop a video at least once a day here on Peter Lloyd World. Also, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button. And finally, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. People, are we ever going to see this remarkably talented young lady, and I do believe she's actually a very talented sprinter, are we ever going to see her run for the 2022 season? I want to know your thoughts. Una ready? Yep! Good to go. Sha Carri Richardson is the sixth fastest woman all time over the 100 meters, a feat that she established in 2021 in Miramar, Florida. Now, recently we have noticed a pattern with this remarkably talented young lady. We anticipated seeing her compete against this young lady, the world's second fastest woman alive, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, at the Kip Kenya Classic in Nairobi, Kenya on May the 7th, which is tomorrow, Saturday, May the 7th. But for the second or third consecutive time since the beginning of the 2022 season, she has withdrawn from the event, meaning Sha Carri Richardson's team has pulled her from the event. The first, of course, that we know of was the April 2nd appearance that should have happened at the Bermuda Games. And then we see her here being withdrawn from the Kip Kenya Games. Now, the question I have to ask is the obvious question, the elephant in the room. What's happening with Sha Carri Richardson? Where is she? Now, some of you are going to say, why are we even concerned? But here's the thing. If you have the sixth fastest time all time at such a young age, it means that you're pretty relevant in terms of the landscape of track and field. Secondarily, this young lady has one of the largest social media following in the history of track and field. In fact, one could arguably state that she is truly an influencer in terms of track and field. She has attracted many persons to track and field who generally have no interest in track and field, and therefore she is important, just not only simply because she is the sixth fastest woman all time over the 100 meters, but also because she is a massively influential individual. Now, the last time we saw her run was in the 2021 at the Città di Padova in Italy, where she came second in a time of 11.19. Now, this was a very unimpressive time. 11.19 is a time that actually high schoolers in Jamaica are actually running. That's no exaggeration. But it was the very last time we saw her. Now, we are aware of the fact that there were several elements that herself and her team argued, and some of them are very valid, which may have led to the downturn in her speed. Now, she came to prominence, of course, in 2021, most people would say, where she had some very dominant runs into June of 2021, including massively influential wins at the National Olympic Trials in the United States. She won the finals eventually in a time of 10.87, I believe, and she ran a massively wind-aided semifinals of 10.68. Sha Carri Richardson, one could argue, was one of the top 5-6 most dominant female sprinters in the first half of the 2021 track and field season. She laid down some very impressive times over the 100 meters. Not so much the 200, but certainly our forte was the 100 meters. And many, many persons started to compare her to the legendary Florence Griffith Joyner, aka Flojo, because of her running style and her running technique. The clear flaw in her running technique, clearly over the 100 meters, is, was certainly last year, her slow start. I mean, she sort of hit that top end speed in the last 40 meters of that 100 meters, and then it's goodbye to everyone around her. So for the first 6 months, she was extremely dominant in the track and field world. And of course, people were excited to see what would happen when this young lady clashed against Jamaica's two top female sprinters, Elaine Thompson-Herah and Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce. Well, right after her massive victory at the national trials in the United States, well, she was caught using cannabis. Now, let me take pains because some of her fans are often offended, and I try to be very balanced on this channel regarding athletes, all athletes, no matter where they're from. She was not accused of taking any hardcore enhancement drugs, okay, no PEDs, etc. She was caught taking cannabis and was given, I believe, a 1 or 6 week suspension. Sorry. She stated in an interview after that the reason why she ended up taking cannabis was because her biological mom, the mom who did not grow her, apparently we're not sure how close they were, but she had passed away either the day of or sometime around the trials, and this was her way of coping psychologically with this issue. Take a quick look at her running that phenomenal 10.72, which made her the 6th fastest woman over the 100 meter all time in Miramar, real quick. As a result of the suspension, she missed the Olympics, where the Jamaica swept in 1-2-3 over the women's 100 meters. Elaine Thompson-Herah running 10.61, I believe. Fraser-Pryce running 10.74, and Sharika Jackson running 10.76. A massive sweep of gold, silver, and bronze in the 2020 Olympic Games. Now it apparently she made, because I never saw these tweets, but apparently she made tweets that basically argued. In fact, I thought that I did see one tweet where she said, "Y'all missed me or missed me all." When the Jamaicans swept, when our athletes, the Jamaican athletes swept. I thought that was sort of this was more targeted at the persons who did not allow her to run because of the cannabis use. That's the impression I got. So of course then was this big build up to the Prefontaine Classic, where this was supposed to be her, her revenge, so to speak, her comeback party, her, I'm going to just show them, because had I been there, it would have made a huge difference. And of course, it was an absolute, utter disaster with the entire world watching. She came last, or the American media would say she came eighth out of eight athletes. So she came last. If you watch the interview she did as she walked off the field, having come last, I mean, this must have been a huge embarrassment for this young lady. She's a young girl who had just lost her biological mom. I mean, come on, people. This must have had a huge impression. And then, of course, she was trolled, according to the media, by Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce. I'm not saying Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce really trolled her. Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce just gave her one of those looks because of all the build-up. There was a lot of hype around Sha Carri Richardson. And because of this massive following of individuals I respect immensely, because they're really dedicated to this young lady. Much was expected and almost nothing was delivered. This was her interview right after. Disaster.
I'm not done. I'm the sixth fastest woman in this game ever. And can't nobody ever take that from me. Congratulations to the
Now, I don't want to keep going about this, but basically, this is what I'm saying. She was booked for 3 races, including Bermuda and Cape Kenya Classic. She withdrew at the last minute. We were getting the tweets that implied that she was about to turn up and she didn't turn up. The question I'm asking is it that she's now become more a social media personality than she's an athlete? Because I see no videos of her training. I see nothing of her. I'm a little confused. Now, I know that we still have about 2 months to go before World Championships. So it could be that she's, ironing out the glitches in terms of her training. It could be that her team just believe that she's not quite ready. It could also just be her trying to play mind games and her team playing mind games. I mean, it's really hard to tell because this is just about speculation. But the core facts are this: she has booked herself she was booked for 3 major events endorsed by the World Athletics Association, and she just didn't turn up for any of the 3, and that's a little odd. I mean, there are some athletes who start their season late. I mean, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce just started her season recently. Some started earlier, like a Shericka Jackson, and some people probably started even a little later. We have not really seen Christian Coleman thus far run 100-meter in a major event thus far. Well, as far as I'm aware, I could have missed it. So it's possible that, she's just waiting for the right time. But the question I keep asking is, why do they then keep accepting these invitations to run, and then she just doesn't turn up? And then we see all these weird tweets. Is it that she's more now a social media personality than she's an athlete? And if that's the case, it would be sad, because I think she's very talented as a sprinter. I really do. Are we going to see Sha Carri Richardson run 100-meter before World Athletics Championships? I mean, that's the question I'm asking. Are we going to get an opportunity as the public, as people who are fans or, just general track and field enthusiasts, to see this young lady who has a 10.72, which is the 6th fastest time over the 100 meters by a woman all time? That's important, as well as, or is it that she's now just a social media personality? I really am now curious, because, look, people, and I don't want to keep going on here, but I can't imagine the psychological impact of that loss at Prefontaine. That must have really been a huge embarrassment. I mean, a young person this popular, having run those spectacular times, to lose in such a public way must have impacted her psychology. So is it that her team is trying to give her time to rebuild that self-confidence? I mean, I just want to know your thoughts. Anyway, again, are we going to see her run anytime soon in 2022? Your guess is as good as mine. I'd love to know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so we can continue to grow here at Peter Lloyd World. When you do that, go ahead and hit the notification bell. We do a video at least once a day. Also, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. And remember, you are kings and queens. Are we going to see this young lady run in 2022? I want to know your thoughts. Bless up.